Hello everyone, welcome to the Packet Tracer Activity 5.2.1 from CCNP ENCOR course from Cisco. This Packet Tracer activity is about DTP and VTP. So let's first remembering what does DTP and what does VTP do. Okay, as you already know, when you are configuring VLANs in one of the switches, it's not like it's not a big deal. So, but can you imagine when you are working with many devices or many switches, like the one in the previous activity or in the previous video? So, when you have many switches, the problem of configuring VLANs and trunking links is going to be more complex and more complicated. So to deal with this, there are two protocols. The first one is DTP, and this is the dynamic trunking protocol. And this protocol, DTP, is a dynamic trunking protocol, and it is automatically make the negotiation between the devices about which port or which link is going to be trunked. Okay, the VTP, on the other hand, is a shortened for VLAN trunking protocol. And in this way, when you are configuring VLANs on one of the devices, which is the VTP server, it will all the VLANs or all the configurations of VLANs on this VTP server will be automatically moved or configured on the other devices on the same VLAN domain or VTP domain. It's also necessary to mention here that there are three types of levels and VTP. The VTP protocol, the first one is VTP server, the second one is VTP clients, and also there is a VTP transparent, as you will see all of them in this video. Okay, so let's get started with part one, which is about configuring and verifying dynamic trunking protocol. First, we need to verify the configured VLAN on all the switches. So on S1, we can check all the VLANs by type show VLAN brief. And as you can see here, we have these VLANs here. Okay, so let's check here also. And also let's check it here as well. Okay, so in step 2, we are going to configure trunks on switch 1, switch 2, and switch 3. Before we do this, we have here a small paragraph about the DTP. This protocol manages the trunk links between the devices, and the default mode of all the devices is dynamic auto, as you can see here. So what we are going to do, we are going to make this port here or this interface here as a desirable. So will be automatically managed to be trunk because this one is auto and this is desirable, and as you can see is going to be trunk. And for the link here between S1 and S3, we are going to do them to set them trunk statically, as you will see here. So let's do this now together. And before we start to do this, we also need to set VLAN 999 as a native VLAN on this topology, which will be done by switch 1. Okay, so let's do this together. And here interface gigabit Ethernet 01. This one here, gigabit Ethernet 01. and I'm going to make switch port mode desirable. Okay, so since this is desirable, this is auto, so it's going to be trunk here, this one here, and this is by DTP protocol because it's default in Cisco devices. Okay, on the second hand, on this one, on this port, we are going to set them statically by ourselves. And to do this, we can follow these lines here. So interface gigabit Ethernet 02, as you can see this one. And here switch port mode trunk. Now it's a trunk. Let's do the same here with S3. Mode trunk again. Okay, so now we are ready with the trunking. So this link now is trunk by DTP, and this link is trunk by static. So we did this statically. What we need to do next, we are going to set the VLAN 999 as a native VLAN. And to do this, we can use this command, both of these interfaces, we can make them native by type switch port trunk native VLAN, and we give the name of the VLAN. But before this, let's check on C1 the trunking or the trunk links. And to do this, we can type show interface and then trunk. And as you can see here, we have here, this is the desirable, and this is also here, we have VLAN Alliance trunk and gigabit Ethernet 01 and 02. Okay, so what we need now, we are going to make these two links as, or these two ports as a native VLAN. Then configure terminal, and then interface range gigabit Ethernet 01 and 2, and then we type switch port trunk native VLAN and then 999. And as you can see here, we have an error because it says now the native VLAN on this switch is 999, but it is not the same on this switch and this switch. So there is a problem here and we need to fix it. How to fix this one? We are going to change the VLAN, the native VLAN on these two switches or on these two ports here to be 999. Okay, so let's do this. Again, interface 02 and the switch port mode trunk. Okay, so we have a problem here. We don't need this mode. Trunk native VLAN 999, and we are going to do the same here. Okay, so now let's check the native VLAN. Show interface. As you can see now here, the native VLAN is 999. Okay, so let's check the one here also. And again, the native VLAN is 999. Okay, so let's keep going, and now we are in part 2. Here we are going to configure and verify VTP, and here S1 is going to be the VTP server, and S2 is going to be VTP client, and S3 is going to be VTP transparent. Okay, and as you know, when we will create VLANs on S1, it will be automatically created on S2. S3 will not have the same VLANs because it's transparent only. Okay, so let's do this now on S3. We need to go to the configuration mode. And here we are going to assign VTP mode as a server. And then we need to give a domain. VTP domain, and then it's going to be CCNA, and VTP password is going to be Cisco. Be careful, the username, the domain, and the password should match on all the devices on the domain. Okay, that's cool with this one. And now we are going to verify this VTP by type the show VTP status. And you can see here we have the VTP version. Here we have the revision 0 because we did not add or delete anything from here, so it's still 0. Here we have the domain CCNA, and here we can see other information. We can check the password by type show VTP password, and of course we can type here domain as well if we would like to have only the domain name. Okay, now let's add S2 as a client, and here VTP mode client, VTP domain CCNA, VTP password Cisco. Okay, and then let's add the third one for S3 as the transparent. VTP domain is going to be transparent, or VTP mode, sorry. VTP domain is CCNA, and VTP password is Cisco. Okay, so let's check the status. And here we have, as you can see, this is transparent. Okay, we have done with this, and now we already added S2 to the VTP domain, and we also added S3 to VTP domain as a transparent. And here we have a question notes that the configuration revision number is 0. This, as you can see here, is 0 because we did not add or delete any of VLANs to the server, so that's why it's 0. Okay, so now let's create a VLAN on S1, and we will see the VLAN automatically configured on S2. VLAN 10, and the name red, and also VLAN 20, and the name is going to be blue, and also VLAN 30, and the name is yellow. Now let's check here in S2 show VLAN brief, and as you can see, these VLANs are automatically added to S2. Okay, on let's check here also, show VTP status. And as you can see here, the configuration revision is 6. Now it's not 0 because we added VLANs on the server, VTP server. Let's check it here. Show VTP status. As you can see, it's also 6 here. And also, let's check it here one more time on S3. And you can see it's still 0 because we did not add anything in this one because it's a transparent only. Okay. And you can see how many VLANs are configured on S2. Does S2 have the same VLANs on S1? Yes, they have the same. And on S2, we can see here, show VLAN brief. And we can see here we have this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so what was the question here? How many VLANs are configured in S3? Let's check them. As you can see here, show VLAN brief. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and as I mentioned, because it's a transparent. And how can we change this to have the information from like the new VLANs or the VLANs configuration from the server? We need to change the mode of this switch from transparent to client. As you will see here, it's required that configure VTP mode to client on S3. Okay, configure. And here we need VTP mode client, and then exit, and then let's show VLAN brief. And as you can see here, now we have the information of this VLANs, and then let's check show VTP status. And as you can see here, it's a client. Okay, so what we need to do more is going to assign ports to the VLANs. So for VLAN 10, which is red, we need to assign port on S2 from fast Ethernet 01 till 8, and fast Ethernet on S3 from fast Ethernet 01 till 8. So let's do this. Configure terminal, interface range from fast 01 till 8, switch port mode access, switch port access VLAN, and of course we need to put here 10. Okay, we need to do the same also. Now this is S2, so I'm going to do now S2, and then I move to the S3. So from F01 till 8 is for VLAN 10, from 9 to 16 for VLAN 20. So interface range, from fast Ethernet 09 till 16, switch port mode access, switch port access VLAN 20, and again interface range from fast Ethernet 017 till 24, switch port mode access, switch port access VLAN 30. Okay, so we have done with this. Let's exit. Show VLAN brief, or show VLAN. And as you can see here, we have the ports. Okay, so let's repeat the process in S3. Configure terminal. We have interface range from fast Ethernet 0, 1 to 8. Switch port mode access. Switch port access VLAN 10. Interface fast Ethernet 0, 9, 16. Switch port mode access. And here finally we have also interface range fast Ethernet from 17 to 24. Switch port mode access. Okay, so we have done with this, and now we need to check the ping connectivity between PC0 and PC1, but before that we have 86 here. Let's check the result. As you can see here, we have in S2, we have gigabit Ethernet dynamic mode. We need to change it dynamic auto. Okay. Configure terminal. Interface giga 0, 1. Is going to be desirable. Now it's okay, it's 100, so both of them should be desirable. Okay, we need to wait. Now it's okay, and now we can ping from PC0 to PC5. Okay, so it's working, and that's all for this activity. Thank you, and see you next video.